And we're back for part 3 of our series on transitioning into a zero drop shoe. Part 1, we talked a lot about the run programming considerations. Part 2, we got into the strength exercises you should be doing for your feet and ankles. Finally, part 3, we have dedicated a whole section towards the specific mobility you can do to counteract all that hard work you're doing so you can make this a long-term successful affair. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna go after is movement in our big toe, and specifically our ability to control said movement. A huge issue with going more minimal in our running, we start to really challenge our feet. They start to work really hard and they get really, really stiff. And one of the biggest areas of stiffness that we have trouble with is actually our big toe's ability to extend upwards. So there's a little two-parter. We're gonna first work on a little activation, my ability to actually flex and extend my big toe. So watch right here. What I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna summon all of my effort and energy and focus. I'm gonna try to magically pick my big toe up without doing any of these other toes. Now, I've practiced this a lot. This was infuriating to me in the beginning because when I first tried it, I really struggled with it. I could barely do it at all. But what I wanna start to do is 10 little big toe lifts here on this side, lifting straight up. And then what I wanna go is big toe down. And then I wanna get these other toes up here as well. Back this way. Don't you love San Francisco? We always get a little soundtrack playing wherever we film. We're gonna go ahead and pull ourselves up this way. So I'm just getting active with my toes back and forth. I'm gonna do a set of 10 here. I'm gonna do a set of 10 pulling these other sides this way, just to kind of show you another angle, pulling that big toe up straight up nicely. Other ones, my shins start to get nice and active. And it's hard. Sometimes you may actually wanna put your other hands down and lift up this way and lift up this way if you're really struggling with this. That's part 1. Part 2, I'm gonna get up on the balls of my feet here and I'm gonna specifically work on that extension through those toes and those big toes. Now, I'm someone who's a little stiffer on my left side than my right side. I should be able to get my foot up pretty vertical while keeping my metatarsal pads on the ground. So I'm missing a little range here. I have to drop down here, and my goal is just to get a little bit more this way. So I could shift my knees back and forth, side to side, showing you kind of straight on. We're just kind of really pushing forward here, shifting back and forth, spending 2 minutes here. That is my homework for my big toes and my feet. So mobility, our exercise number 2, or 2A or 3, I don't know what number I'm on right now, is going to be our narrow squat hold. One of the things that I want to do with my squat is challenge my ankles, and specifically my dorsiflexion, my ability for this ankle to flex back this way without this range. Now, we like the word mobility here because what we're really focusing on is the range and mobility in this joint, not just, oh, I've got tight calves, I need to stretch my calves. When I focus on this mobility, I'm really focusing on the range of motion that I need, and I'm gonna actually get all of the muscles and ligaments around it that need that lengthening and that attention. So after I've kind of nailed my regular wider squat position with my feet out here, what I'm actually going to do, take my feet in heel and big toe touching, I'm going to pull myself down. For a lot of you, you may not be able to squat down as deep. That's okay. If you're up a little higher, hold on to something if you need to, but we're going to spend 1 to 2 minutes here, preferably 2, where I'm just really hanging on. Do this after you're nice and warm at the end of your runs. This is a great time to do it. You could spend a bare minimum of 2. You could spend upwards of 3 or 4 or 5. If this feels pretty good, what you could work on is a little kick out, where I'm just gonna focus on one leg. I could focus on 1 minute here, pull this leg back in, kick out to the other side, hold this side right here. I'm just biasing this side that much more of a challenge, but really good and really necessary for the running I'm trying to do. Final exercise is going to involve your official TRE mobility tool, the Lacrosse Ball, endowed with special mobility powers if you use it. Of course, any old lacrosse ball will work. You could use a wine bottle, a coffee mug. We're pretty agnostic when it comes to the tools you use, as long as they work. I'm gonna work on rolling out my feet here. So I'm gonna have this lacrosse ball right here. I'm gonna plant one foot up, and I'm gonna start just underneath my metatarsals here. And I'm gonna work on just sweeping back and forth. So notice that my heel is anchored, and I'm just working through all the tendons underneath all the metatarsals, sweeping back and forth this way. As I start to feel this thing, if I feel a tight spot, I might extend my toes, curl them back down, extend again. Just trying to get those tendons to slide through and open up. And I'm gonna slowly work my way back towards the base of my heel. This is such an important one to do because, again, we're transitioning into these more minimal shoes. Our feet are gonna be barking, they're gonna be mad at us, they're gonna be doing all this extra work. And this, more than anything else, is really gonna relieve a lot of that stress. 2 to 3 minutes per foot, at least. Definitely do this once a day the first few weeks you're working on that transition, and after that, you can just rotate this 1 to 2 days a week just as a regular runner. Heck, even if you're not going into zero drop shoes, you're gonna find that your feet are gonna be sore anyway, so this is gonna be really beneficial. Of course, do one foot, do the other foot, get both in there. That is it. Remember, changing into a zero drop shoe takes a lot. It takes as long as it takes. A lot of it has a background to your foot's history and background, how much time you spent barefoot or in shoes as a kid, how strong and mobile and athletic you currently are right now, and how much running you're trying to do. The good news in my experience, it doesn't matter where you are, we can all get better by employing the tactics and strategies we discussed in this past video series. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can improve yourself from where you're going. We haven't talked yet about run technique, and the reason why is because we've actually filmed a whole video on it that really supports everything we've talked about in this video. We'll just have that up here, how to change your run technique and the best time to do so. It'll really support everything we've done thus far. Good luck. Remember, you can get all the help that you desire as a runner in our training club, specifically on injury prevention, strength, and run technique. You try it out 7 days for free. Click the link down below to make that happen. If you like this video and it brought you some warmth and mirth to your running days, we'll go ahead and give us that thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions on what we discussed, this stuff can be tricky, drop those down below and we'll have a conversation. That's what we're here for. And of course, subscribe to our channel so you don't just see this video, but you see all the new videos we put out each and every single week. Hit that guy, hit that little alarm bell too, so you get those notifications, win-win all the way around. And I'm gonna keep filming, guys, so I will see you in the next video.